Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name's Janelle and I upload new videos every Wednesday. I wanted to show you guys the makeup routine that I do when I want to feel just super pretty. I want to do a full face of makeup, but I don't want to use products that are going to like look cakey on my skin. This is like the perfect prom makeup look. This would also be great for bridal makeup. Obviously take from this routine what works best for you and your skin type, but if you do follow every single step, it makes the perfect like special occasion, formal, bridal, or prom makeup look that's gonna photograph really good and that will literally stay in place all day. Mind you, I'm not using a full coverage foundation, I'm using a tinted serum. So I'm gonna show you how to layer products so that your skin can still look natural but wear all day long. Let's get into the video. So I try to give myself like a blowout look with a straightener and some rollers, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I feel like my bangs look super like 80s, but for now we're just gonna clip this hair out of the way. Also guys, I talked about this top in my last vlog. Look at how cute this is. It's such a good dupe for the Aritzia like crisscross top that's $58. Material on it is so like thick and good quality. I love the rib detailing. It's from Forever 21. It was literally only $17. All right, so the most important step whenever I want to feel cute is making sure to really prep my skin so that my skin looks healthy, so that way whatever products I layer on top will look even better. If my skin isn't properly prepped, it doesn't matter how expensive or how nice of a foundation I have, it will not wear good if the skin is not prepped, if your skin is not taken care of. So I'm gonna start off with my Amandine Dew Dream Serum Spray. I also love using this with my makeup. Whenever I want to make sure my under eye is super hydrated and smooth, I'll go in with my Clarins Double Serum Eye Treatment. Looks like this. I'll either do this or I'll do my Spa Treatment Under Eye Patches. Those work incredible and they're linked in my Amazon shop. When I tell you that they instantly remove any puffiness or like under eye bags, I'm not joking. I take whatever's left and run that across my lips because your under eye area skin is thin just like your lips. So your eye serums and creams will work great for your lips too. Of course, I have to go into my vitamin C serum. I love the Honest Beauty Vitamin C serum. Every time I try a different vitamin C serum, I come back to this one because it's just so good. This is a skincare item, but to me, I use it for more cosmetics purposes because it gives your skin the most beautiful lit from within glow. It's the Glow Recipe Watermelon Niacinamide Dewdrops. Sometimes I'll use this without any foundation, just go in with like some bronzing drops. And then of course I follow up with my moisturizer and SPF. You can use whatever moisturizer and SPF that you prefer. As you can see now, my skin is nice and hydrated. It has a nice tacky base to it. And that was 6 steps before even going in with my primer. So it just goes to show that prepping your skin will really make all the difference in how the makeup lays on top. You obviously don't need to do all of these steps, but this is the steps that I go through to make sure that my skin will be its best before I layer any makeup on top. This has been my new favorite primer, especially whenever I want my makeup to stay on all day, and it's the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. This stuff is incredible. It reminds me a lot of the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, except I prefer this one better just because it gives my skin a little bit more of a glow. It creates just like a super tacky base, so that way when I go in with my more light tinted serums, it has something to grip to so that it'll actually stay on a lot longer. I put about 2 pumps of this all over my face. From there I go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is in the shade Tan 5. It's very warm, but I like it because it helps give me like an all over bronze finish. Also gonna be very sheer and easy to blend, so it's okay that it's a little bit darker, but what I do is smear this everywhere like that, and then right over top of that I go in with my L'Oreal True Match Nude Tinted Serum. Guys, this tinted serum is incredible. I recently picked up the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation and that was my go-to. I was thoroughly enjoying that foundation, and then when I picked this up, I literally haven't touched that foundation since. This performs just like that foundation. I really cannot tell the difference, and I was able to get a really good match in the L'Oreal one because W6 is like a really nice neutral shade for me. I'll do like a drop on each side. I then go in with my Dose of Colors beauty sponge. I make sure it's super damp. Also guys, this has been my favorite sponge. I love the size of it. I love how squishy it is. It's just like the most perfect beauty sponge ever. And you can use the code all lowercase Chanel for 20% off of Dose of Colors, which is so exciting. And then I just push this into my skin and you guys are gonna see the incredible glow that this leaves the skin. It evens it up without looking heavy or cakey. You can still see like my natural skin peeking through, but it also looks flawless at the same time. This combo is just everything. And I'm just doing light tapping motions. If you didn't want to do all the steps of mixing, I also really like the L'Oreal Tinted Serum by itself. Whenever I'm not using the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, I'll just go in with my e.l.f. primer and then that. And then a more affordable option, Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, is the Verse Mood Lighting Glow Drops. If you mix this with your moisturizer, this will give your skin that all over glow. And then you can just follow up with the primer and the L'Oreal Tinted Serum and you'll get a very similar finish. I'm extra and I'm a makeup artist, so I don't mind layering a bunch of steps to create like a super flawless airbrush finish. But I recognize that that's not realistic for everybody. Not everybody wants to buy a bunch of products. Not everybody wants to take the time to grab for a bunch of different products. So obviously you can customize whatever I'm showing to what works best for you. I promise you every single step is not necessary. I will say for special occasions when you do implement all these steps, it makes a difference, especially in how like makeup photographs and in how it wears. For day-to-day purposes, just do whatever works for you. Next I go in with my Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This has been my go-to lately. I'm absolutely obsessed with this concealer. I just love how smooth it blends. I love the coverage that it gives without looking heavy. It doesn't crease bad on me. Just an all-around great concealer. I put a little bit right inside of here, my chin. I wipe off the tip of it and then apply it down my nose. That way it doesn't go into cakey down my nose. And then before blending that out with my beauty sponge, I'll put some on the back of my hand. And then I pick up that product with my beauty sponge. That way, once I go to blend out the concealer, it's not picking it up and making it look patchy. I like to let this sit for like a second or two. Whenever I'm blending out the concealer underneath of my eye, I make sure to do super light tapping motions. You don't want to rub, you don't want to apply too much pressure. You just want to use super light pressure and just lightly tap it wherever you placed it. And then I'll also start working that down the sides of my nose, around my nose with the tip of the beauty sponge, and then I'll start blending it out. Also, whenever I'm blending it out, I try not to bring it too close to my under eye because that's where I have those stubborn little creases. I'll try to bring it a little bit further down, and then once I finish blending out most of the product, I'll take whatever's left on my sponge under there. But that way it's not too thick or heavy of product layered on top of those creases, because then that is what will give you super creasy under eyes. I'll also work whatever's on my sponge over my eyelid. Take the clean part of my sponge and blend the edges here. That way it's not too stark and everything blends seamless. Before I blend out the other side, I do the same thing. Pick up some concealer on the back of my hand and then just do really light tapping motions, barely applying any pressure on my skin. When I blend out the product on my chin, I start with the tip that has the concealer that I was using to blend out under my eye. And then again, I take the clean part, the butt, to make sure that that is all seamless and it's not too stark. When blending out the concealer on my forehead, I make sure to also work that into the front part of my brow so that everything is seamless. Again, always alternating between the tip and the butt of the sponge to make sure everything is super seamless. Rarely apply any pressure when blending out the concealer on my nose. Now, my favorite part, the contour slash bronzer. This new product is the Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I have the shade She's Sculpted. This cream contour is perfection. For one, the tone of it is perfect. It's a nice neutral, so it's not going to be too cool tone to where it'll make your skin look muddy if you are more of like a warm olive or deep complexion. But it's also not too warm to where you just look like a Oompa Loompa. It is the perfect balance. So if you're new to makeup and contouring intimidates you, this product is very sheer and buildable. So it's really easy to work with for beginners because it's literally going to blend out for you. My favorite way to apply this is with the side of my beauty sponge. I'll work it into the cream contour and then I'll just press it right along my cheek. Starting here, I'll just do really light tapping motions and you guys are gonna see how this just melts into the skin. Like, look at that. What I also love about this product is that you can use it on bare skin because of how it just melts into the skin and how sheer it is. Like on days when I'm not doing a tinted serum or foundation, I can just do this to warm up my skin. I like to really sculpt out the jawline. I always lay my sponge down slightly above my cheekbone just because by the time I blend it out, it'll lay right on my cheekbone. And of course, taking the butt of the sponge, I just press over everything again. And taking my Makeup by Mario F1 face brush, I take the small side of the brush. It's nice and angled, and I'll take the tip of the angled part, work that in the cream bronzer, and just start lightly tapping that along the sides of my nose. This is also perfect for nose contour because the amount of times where I accidentally go overboard with my nose contour or it looks too muddy or patchy, is insane, and with this product I feel like it's impossible to do that. I like to lightly tap it, and I always work it into this front part of the brow. That way everything just kind of flows together. And I also take that same cream contour and I'll start pressing that in the crease of my eye. And this will kind of create the base for the eyeshadow shades that I'll place later. Some days I'll just use this as my eyeshadow and then just follow up with mascara once I'm done with the face makeup. You see, it leaves just enough of a shadow to enhance your eye, enhance that crease, but without being too dramatic. Since I also want to apply some cream blushes, but I did my concealer first, this is what I do when I know I'm not going to set my concealer with my loose powder right away. I'll go in with a pressed powder. This is my Fenty Beauty Universal Invisimatte powder. It has that because I always work a damp beauty sponge in it because that's my favorite way to apply it. I'll basically just take a tiny bit on the tip of my sponge. I just tap that inward. That way my concealer doesn't crease while I'm working on other cream products. This Rare Beauty combo right here has been a game changer. I love these products so much. It's the Rare Beauty blush in the shade Happy. This is the dewy finish blush. And then the Rare Beauty liquid luminizer in Mesmerize. They're gorgeous on their own, but I love mixing them together. What I'll do is I'll scoop out some of Happy on the back of my hand, and then I scoop out some of the Mesmerize liquid luminizer, and I will mix those together, and it creates the most stunning blush shade ever. Like, look at that. The blush is super pigmented, so a little goes a long way. So typically whatever's left on my finger, I'll lightly tap there and then here, and then I'll work the side of my beauty sponge into some of the product on the back of my hand, just a tiny bit, and then I'll just start tapping this on my cheek, again doing super light tapping motion. I like to smile to make sure I follow the natural flow of my cheek. Since it's really pigmented, a lot of times I'll have to switch over to the clean part of my sponge to make sure everything's super blended and it doesn't get too bright in certain areas. Then I'll go back to the tip of the sponge. You guys see that? It is so pretty! Take some on the tip of my nose, even some on my forehead and chin. If I want some extra highlight, I'll take some of the Mesmerize on its own. Again, dab some on the back of my hand and work it into the tip of my same beauty sponge. I love using this sponge for literally everything. And I just tap it on the high points of my cheeks to give even more of a lit from within shine. Some of the highlight down my nose too, and across my forehead and on my chin as well. So boom, that's the base of all of my cream products. If your skin is dry, you could literally stop there. Maybe just set any areas that you get shiny, and then just leave the rest of your skin super dewy and fresh. If I want my makeup to stay on all day, if I'm gonna have pictures of my makeup taken, then this is the next phase of the makeup where I'll go over top of everything with powders to really lock it in place all day. Again, it's completely optional. You gotta figure out your skin and what works best for you. Some days I'll just stop here. Some days I'll do the full thing, just depending on the occasion. Before I go in with my powders, I always go in with my Maybelline Master Fix setting spray. Spray my face with this, then once it's 70% dry, I'll go in with my Lancome Absolute Powder in Ecru Light, and I'll pick up some of the powder with the butt of my sponge, and I will pounce it in circular motions. This just really helps lock the makeup in place all day, but then because my skin is still wet while going in with the powder, it helps the powder not look too cakey. It helps it melt into the skin and give you the most creamy finish ever. Also, this powder is incredible for more mature skin. If your skin is dry, it is the most buttery, creamy powder ever. It gives your skin the most flawless finish ever. It is expensive, but you only need a little bit and it does last a long time. I'm in love with this powder. It's breathtaking. I spray my face, and then again, just picking up a tiny bit of powder with the butt of my beauty sponge. I'm going to start pouncing it in circular motions like this. You guys see that? You see how smooth it leaves the skin, how it locks it in place, but you can still see the glow from underneath. This is the side without the powder, this is with the powder. Now, since those powders are expensive, I want to share with you guys a good alternative. Number 7 Triple Action finishing powders are great for setting the face and still giving a glow. It also has that same buttery finish to it. This is when what do I do now? Oh, this is when I set my under eyes. My Holy Grail powder, especially when I want to feel pretty, is my Hourglass Veil translucent powder. I just picked up a new one of these. This is like my 5th time repurchasing this powder. It is the best powder for the under eyes, and my favorite way to apply it is with a damp beauty sponge. That way it keeps even more of a hydrated finish and it doesn't dry out the under eyes. Once again, this powder is a little pricey, so a good alternative is the L'Oreal Hydra Perfect powder. Again, it doesn't dry out the under eye. It still allows your skin to look like skin, And another good thing about this powder is that it is talc free. Both of these powders are talc free. So again, before I apply the loose powder under my eyes, I'll spray my face again with the Maybelline Master Fix. Pick up the powder with the side of my beauty sponge. I like to start on the sides of my nose. And then from there, I will tap it out. Again, I try not to bring the powder too close to my under eyes because then that's how it will crease up and make your under eyes look super cakey. Bring it out about this far. And from there, I'll go to the outer corner. Again, not super close to my under eye, but I'll lightly tap it inward. Like that. See how smooth that looks? Take some more powder on my chin. A little bit in my T-zone just because I can get a little shiny there too. And then I'll take it with the very pointy part of the sponge and use that down the center of my nose. I'll also take whatever powder is left and use that to set my eyelids. I'll come back to the rest of my powder face products in a second, but for now, I'm going to work on the eyes. I'm gonna start off by filling in my brows before I go in with any eye product. I've been trying to not overfill in my brows, leave the natural shape of them a little bit more. Find that it just keeps your face looking way more soft, better than when you like draw a whole new eyebrow or if you like box it off or fill in too much. Then to set my brows in place, I take my Got To Be Glued spiking gel. Yes, that is DJ Pauly D on the front of it. This is my favorite brow gel, and it's not even a brow gel, it's a hair gel, but it's water resistant. It's like the only thing that tames my unruly, super long brow hairs. I'll just take a spoolie, grab whatever's like in this little front. Right here, I try not to grab too much product, and I always back comb my brows first, and then I'll lift them. Try to keep the tail of my brow hairs down, but then I like to spike up this little front section here. I take the powder Patrick Ta bronzer with this Morphe fluffy blending brush, and I literally just throw that in my crease. Make sure to work it in, again, the front part of the nose area, and then I'll even bring it all the way down to set the nose contour. I like to wing out the tail a little bit, and I'll just take whatever's left on my brush and tap it on my eyelid like this. If I'm feeling it, I'll take the same bronzer but with a slightly smaller brush and work that in the crease. And by taking a small, more dense brush, it'll pack on the color a little bit more to make it look like it's two different eyeshadow shades. Really, it's the same exact product. And I'll just tap that in like the little outer corner here and then just lightly work that in the crease. Literally anybody could do this eye look. I'll also pick up the same bronzer with a small shader brush. I pick up the bronzer on the tip of the shader brush and then lightly tap that on my lower lash line. You can get free shipping on any Patrick Ta products with the link down below. It is an affiliate link, but I promise you guys I'm not exaggerating when I say how much I love this product. It is my favorite part. I'll take the Makeup by Mario eye reflector. This one's in the shade Bronzite. It's like the perfect champagne gold tone. It's just so pretty. Look at that. Such a fine sheen. Pick that up with my ring finger and tap that in like this front portion of the eye and then twinkle it out. It gives the perfect amount of pop, but it's so fine that it's not going to be overpowering. I promise you this will look good on everybody. I'll just start tapping it like that. Doesn't have to be perfect because I'll take my blending brush to kind of diffuse it. Just such a pretty soft twinkle. And if I really want my eye to pop, I'll take that same eye reflector and with a smaller, more dense brush, pack on the product a little bit more. And again, it'll make it look like two different because the brushes have two different densities to pack on the product different. And I'll just start lightly tapping that in this front portion here. And this will just add some more dimension to the look. From there, I like to take my Makeup by Mario brown eyeliner. This is in the shade Soft Brown. These eyeliners are my favorite because they're so pigmented, they're creamy. They also stay on all day and they do not budge. If you have a tendency of your eyeliners like running, not staying on all day, then you need these eyeliners. They're like completely budge proof. I start by taking the tip of the liner on the edge of my lower lash line and I'll do a little line up like that, and then I'll connect that to the top lash line. From there, I'll take the brush on the other side of the eyeliner and flick that out. And then I'll start lightly putting the brown liner across my top lash line. I just do really light flicking motions. That way I follow the natural curvature of my eye. I find that if I like hold my eye and do the line like that, it ends up not being flattering. So just do really light tapping motions. Also going to want to tightline the top waterline of your top lashes. I always like to tightline this inner corner here too, and also out here. Then you're going to want to take whatever bronzer you used in your crease with a small brush like this. Mine is just on the other side of my Makeup by Mario eyeliner. I'll work it in the bronzer and then I'll just start at the base of my lashes and flick it up. And this will help give that liner that super smoky finish and it'll look just so effortless. It makes such a difference. And then the last thing I like to do for the eyes, we're going to take that same highlight again, put some on the back of our hands, pick it up with any sort of small brush and place it right in that inner tear duct like that, and then just lightly flick it up. just to brighten her up a little bit. Also work some underneath the highest point of the brow bone. And from there, you can take whatever loose powder, you can take a matte cream shadow, whatever you prefer. I'm gonna use the matte cream shadow in my Makeup by Mario palette, and you're just going to lightly set underneath of the brow bone. This will also help diffuse everything else underneath of it. Now we're gonna blend away that powder that we had underneath of our eyes. And then we're gonna bronze the face with the same Patrick Ta bronzer. I'm just using this Morphe brush. And I like to do really light tapping motions. That way it doesn't go on patchy, and that way I'm not like picking up any of the makeup. So work that along the jawline. Guys, for blush, I think I mentioned this in a YouTube short. The Kokie Cosmetics Soft Gradient blushes are amazing. My favorite is in the shade Heartthrob. It is just like the perfect pinky blush shade. These are absolutely incredible. They honestly remind me a lot of the Patrick Ta blushes. They wear such a long time, absolutely stunning. And then lately what I've been absolutely loving is taking the shade Swoon. It's a lot lighter, and I'll go into this really, really light portion here, and I'll use that underneath of my eyes down into the blush to help marry it all together. This makes the biggest difference. So I'm gonna start by taking the shade Heartthrob, just kind of swirling in all these shades, and I tap that on my cheeks. I also apply it across my nose and forehead and chin. Then, like I said, this part makes all the difference. I take my damp beauty sponge in the lightest portion of the shade Swoon. You just dab that underneath of the eye and kind of push it into this portion here. And see how it creates like the super smooth gradient and how like smooth this area looks. Only want to pick up a little bit of product. You don't want to go in with too much. From here, I like to go in with a more hydrating facial mist. So I'll go back in with my Amandine Dew Dream serum spray, and I'll spray it on the butt of my sponge and pounce it on my skin. Could also use MAC Fix Plus. The MAC Light Full Sea Lotion spray is also good. I pat off the excess, and I really, really lightly just tap it in circular motions like this. See, it just helps melt everything together. Side versus this side. I used to be terrified of lash curlers, but now I can't apply my mascara without curling my lashes. It just makes such a difference. So I'm gonna go in with my Revlon lash curler, then gonna go in with a lash primer, and then my favorite mascara, literally of all time, the Milani Anti-Gravity Mascara. It holds a curl, it doesn't flake, it gives you length, it gives you volume, it gives you separation. With this mascara, I never put on false lashes. And then I'll comb through my lashes with my lash comb, and this will give me that false lash effect without having to go in with false lashes. All right, once I apply my mascara and my mascara is dry, I like to curl my lashes again. And the best way to curl your lashes once you have product in them for it to not rip out is to make sure that your lash curler is clean. And then what I do is I just really, really lightly clamp down on my lashes. I don't apply too much pressure, and then I'm about to put you guys on. Sorry, I need some water. I'm about to put you guys, oh my god, you guys on to my favorite affordable lip combo, and it is the Revlon Color Stay matte lipsticks in the shades Truffle and I forget the name of this one. They don't have the names on the packaging, but I will leave them linked down below. Also, lipstick exploded all over my purse and it got everything disgusting. These are the colors here. So I take the darkest shade, again, I'll leave it linked down below, and I'll use that to line my lips. Look it up around here. And then I'll take this lighter shade. It just helps give that like perfect pout right in the center. And this one has like a slight sheen built into it, but it's still matte. But this is the completed makeup look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Hopefully you were able to take some tips and tricks to perfect your makeup routine. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!